I can't do the third shift of hot dogs. I used to have like a couple in the beginning, a couple 5 innings later. Now I can't.
Is there an eating clock?
What? You eat 4 hot dogs in a game?
You fat ass. Jesus. Dodger dogs are 2 feet long.
The game means nothing. It's all about the relish and the mustard.
It's settling in and eating. That's the beauty. And you probably have a waitress.
Well, that's the best place to have a hot dog is a baseball game.
Hey, Dana.
What's up?
Welcome to Superfly.
I'm getting a haircut later today.
Oh, you are? Let's not bury the lead.
It's just
a little shaggy.
It's just a little bit much. I need more face, less hair. You know, if the hair's too bouffanty, then, you know. So anyway, I know it's exciting for the people listening. But
no, listen, I suffer a little bouffanteism now and then, but right now mine's sort of scraped back. My room is a hair darker than yours, so save it, YouTube. We don't want to hear that. And also, I do take sips of water sometime, and I actually hate it myself to see it. So I'm sorry, people watching, but sorry, I'm just trying to live.
No, I think that's a good thing. No, I just so I went to the dentist.
Okay.
And usually at some point when I go to the dentist or the doctor will say, wow. At some point when they're checking me out or doing diagnostics, they say, wow.
I mean, something's wrong or something? It scares you.
Something's blowing their mind. So I went to this guy before and he did a diagnostics on my teeth. And then I went in to get a crown, which, you know, is kind of, you're like the king for a day.
Sure.
And, you know, I said, you're going to say, wow, at some point today. And he goes, oh, come on, don't be silly. So they numb you and then I swear to God, the drill was doing Beethoven's Fifth. Or it was sounding like it was crying. Like I've stopped the drill. So anyway, then under his breath at one point, after he got down, got all that stuff out, he goes, wow. So then he announces to me, you got 2 nerve endings down there. I can't put a crown on it. It's all 3D. You can see the tooth. It looks all shiny and ready.
I can see him hanging out of your mouth right now.
It's all
look like ropes
right back here. And so, so he says there's 2 nerve endings full of bacteria that are about to explode. So you need a root canal stat. So today, after this, I'm going to get a root canal. I don't quite know what they do, but I know they numb it up pretty good. So that's exciting.
Fucking sucks, whatever it is. I don't think I've had one.
Oh, you've had a root canal.
I don't think I've had shit. My teeth aren't great, but they're kind of, at least they're working right now, but I don't have tons. I used to have those silver fillings, more boring stories, but they found out those are bad for you, whatever. So they jack them out. It's another scam. The dentists go, let's say they're good for you, and then let's say we got to take them out. They get paid both ways. They got coming and going.
No, you just look good.
But you
smile big.
I'm not really about my teeth. Well, I kind of have buck tooth.
Well, here why my stuff's not so great. So I had buck teeth. I was going to be called Bucky. And so they said, you got to get braces. Parents at first couldn't afford the bottoms. So the guy literally said to me, I'm sure I've said this on the podcast, can you just get a habit of pushing on this tooth to push it back? Because we can't afford the bottom. Finally, my parents, 5 kids, teacher salary, scraped together, got the braces. But first they said, let's pull 4 of your teeth, 2 up here and 2 here. So that's why I have a small mouth and a little like this. Otherwise, it'd be like fantastic. And then I got shitty braces. By the time I never brushed or flossed, I don't know how you floss with braces. I had headgear. When they came off, I had like 7 cavities. And from then on, I've had to take care of my teeth. But luckily,
they find full candy corns in it. They aren't even chewed, jammed in it.
No, but how do you brush?
I had braces. It's horrible. I had the kind you hit on with a little hammer. You probably had that too, like a rubber hammer. Deesh. No wonder my neck's fucked up. And then they never take them off. And then I had the rubber bands, which are horrible.
Yeah, those and the head thing, the headgear, which was hard.
I had a key in there on a retainer during SNL to open the upper palate.
Oh, you had it later in life.
I had them early, and then they we bought chicks. My mom got it like out of the yellow pages. It was like get braces and a free balloon. It was probably $100. So we had no money. So I get these shitty braces. My teeth were like this. And then they go, we got to get 4 wisdom teeth out. They took them out, and this will make you fucking puke.
I did get
But
those.
when I come home like this, way too much everything. You know, as a kid, you've never had even aspirin. I haven't had anything.
Yeah.
And so I come home like, hello, darkness. And then they go to sleep, and I had 4 impacted, so they're all smashed with gauze. They go, change your gauze. So in the middle of the night, I get up in the middle of the night, I go, I throw it in the sink. I put new ones in. And the next day I'm bleeding so much I'm sick. She runs me down there. They go, he almost died. He pulled all of his stitches out in the middle of the night.
You did.
I ripped everything out. I had to go do it again.
Because you were...
I just went in my mouth and went, rah, sick. Sickening. Pukeable.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have gotten hooked on Vicodin then. I didn't have time though. But I did get aspirin and then whatever. And I didn't have any pain pills.
Yeah.
Advil now I take a lot.
I don't like general anesthesia. I said, just numb me up. And they go,
do you do gas?
No, I just do the shots. And they go, and it's like, this is a joke I used to do on stage. You go, a dentist having sex. All right. You're going to feel a little prick. Sorry. That's all I got.
And then maybe some little balls.
I don't know. You know, when you're starting out, kids, you know, you're just anything that gets a laugh. You're not thinking what your peers think. But no, I don't.
I will tell you, I had an adventure. Plus, I hope you're okay today because we need this thing to keep going.
Oh, it's going to be fine. It's modern dentistry. Much.
If you need a ride, let me know.
All right.
Oh, you do?
I'll hit you up. Yeah. And I want to sit in the back because I get car sick after dental work. So I want to look like you're my chauffeur driving me through West Hollywood and just having people honk and go, look, I guess Dana hires David Spade to be his driver.
Yeah. Things have really switched. You go like, here's you, I'm driving, and then I'll just film you like this. And then I'll ask you questions and watch you go, oh, like they do on TikTok.
Modern dentistry is no big deal. Don't worry about it. I did get a cavity once where I didn't do the numbing, and I wouldn't do that again. That was hard.
Fuck, that wouldn't even cross my mind.
An idiot.
All right, so here I am this weekend. I went down, finally get to golf because I did 6 or 7 weekends on the road straight.
Jeez.
It is a bit of a grind, but
what do you do with all that money? Okay, go ahead.
I have Atlantic City coming up in a week. I have Reno and I have Sacramento. Okay, so... But those are fun. Those are just like fun ones and maybe a corporate. But so here I am. I get to golf. It's finally decent weather. So I'm in Newport. Mm-hmm. I'm out there. Anyway, there's helicopters, which aren't always on the golf course. The golf course is kind of by the water. So that's the nice proximity of it all. Mm-hmm. So anyway, they're so hot. They're so close that you're like, okay, move. I don't know what's going on. And we're getting mad because it's so loud, you know, whatever, over. For maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And that's not usually, the idea of the golf course is to keep it quiet. So then I leave and I see a couple of cops when I'm checking out and I drive by them and I go, hey, what was going on with those helicopters? They go, oh, we had a boatload of migrants come on the beach and they all ran and they ran on the golf course. So they're all chasing and it's a whole thing going on around us. And I was like, who is our caddy? No, I'm kidding. But someone threw on overalls and jumped in. But
did
so they're running around.
You see them running? You see?
No, they were on the course next to us. They were running all over.
And that was all the stuff. Oh,
it was yeah. But they, by the way, I would have grabbed a cop and said, give me that free phone and give me that stuff and let me get out of your way. Because why are you running? So they just come right on the beach and they go, this happens sometimes. And I go, where'd they go? And they go, I don't know.
Well, that blows open the whole idea of we got to close the border. Now we should close the beaches first.
You have to close.
Most
you
come
don't need a wall.
in Point Magoo or something. They're
Point Magoo.
They're storming Point Magoo.
Aunt Blabby.
A perfect Carson
isn't safe.
Word.
Yeah, listen, it was just sort of funny to me because I thought these Keystone cops are spinning around and everyone's running around, but we don't know anything. I wish we would have known at the time. Would I be scared? I don't know if I'd be scared, but I just thought I would help.
I think they're probably just desperate to meld into the population. If it's like The Great Escape with Steve McQueen or something, it's like they just want to get past everything and meld into.
The guy runs up to me, need a fourth? We're like, oh, sure, I'm going to play through. And he grabs a club.
He shoots a 62.
And he's really good. And then it's a movie because he's so good.
Yeah, he's just a natural. I can't do the accent, but whatever accent it would be. By the way, only 25% of people of Mexican or heritage are coming across the border. 75% is from other countries. Just a fun fact for our listeners.
That's a longer hike, though. Yeah, I would think Mexico because it's right there.
Right. I don't know.
It's not Canadian, is it?
We're going to take them out. We're going to deport 300 million people. We're going to... Excuse me, sir.
You're going too. You're going to get caught up in the net. Just grab you accidentally.
The rhythm I love of Trump, and I've been doing it, but when I see him do it, when he goes to the gruff thing, it's such a funny thing. He's just talking like this, and a lot of people said we're doing. And then he sees the energy's going down a little bit in the stadium, and we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. He hits that so hard, and you gotta lean in when he does that. So. But Biden's my guy right now. He's my guy. So,
yeah. Also, okay. So in the news, I saw that Tom Brady, his ex-wife is Giselle. I don't know. Did you know this, Giselle? She's a supermodel. They call them supermodels now. And
it's a supermodel. It's better than a regular model.
So she gets pregnant.
She's pregnant with the karate instructor or martial arts instructor.
His whole life is just, you're the karate guy. Yeah. So they go off, and I like that they keep saying she's going to raise the baby in her $11.5 million home. They don't just say it's a nice house. 11.5.
Well, why wouldn't they round it up to 12 million?
They should do something because it's actually just funnier.
Homework for my brain. I don't need to.
It's so much millions.
Okay, so for people who just came in from Mars, Tom Brady was married to Giselle Bundchen, who's a supermodel for decades. She's still gorgeous, in great shape, and everyone's
gorgeous involved in this photo, but in this marriage. And you know what the two dots over the U in her name are called? Do you know, Dana? Do you know
they're called a thing like a semicolon or something?
They're called an upsilon, I think.
Okay, so
cut to YouTube comments. Wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, but then Tom Brady posts this Instagram the next day.
Can the child within my heart rise above? Okay.
Why?
Well, I get that.
Go ahead. What?
Well, because just human, male, female, forget this trio of dandies, these buttes. Just think of the human thing of being instinctually even proprietary over an ex in some ways. There's left vestigial feelings about that. So vestigial leftover feelings. Yes. Scottsdale Community College gets dominated by College San Mateo. So the point would be, Tom Brady is asking himself, can he just be magnanimous, be happy for them, be a good stepdad or whatever to the child? He's or he can be petty, reflexively jealous, not wishing them well. These are like just human things that he's trying to rise above. Your take. That's my hot take.
Jesus, you got a lot from those
to people who are driving around. Can the child within my heart rise above? ? 3 hearts. There's 3 people involved. The chop guy.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Giselle and Tom.
Well, is it those 3, or what about the karate guy? Is that 4?
Well, I put chop guy. Okay, we'll call him. No,
listen,
he's a jiu-jitsu champion.
There's the hi-ya guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
hi-ya. Do people still say hi-ya? Okay, so it's that, and it's also. But now he has a kid with Bridget Monahan, correct?
And then 2 with Giselle. I'm ashamed to report that I know these things.
Know.
No, I'm ashamed that I know. What am
sadder,
I?
Yeah.
Should be reading history books.
Yes. Yeah. So that, and then so there's another kid, and this is from Landslide,
mm-hmm.
the song.
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah. Can you put your best foot forward? How does it go?
And if I see my... What if the next Instagram is, and if I see my reflection, snow-covered hill.
See my reflection. I'm doing Bruce Springsteen as Stevie Nicks.
Yeah,
Stevie
Jesus.
Springsteen.
Here, Heather,
and I see my reflection. I'm Bruce Springsteen, and I'm not a billionaire. He announced this week that he's not a billionaire.
He did.
I spent too much money to be a billionaire. I am officially not a billionaire.
On what? Those same Levi's he's worn for?
No, he sold his catalog. Good for him for $500 million. But there's taxes.
He's fine. He's fine. I'm not worried about him. There's a guy playing him now from The Bear. And
I know.
Does he look enough like him? I guess it's sort of just, it's not supposed to be. A lot of these biopics, they say, I just want the essence of the guy. I don't want.
Well, if he's playing young Springsteen, when Springsteen really built himself up, with a tank top, really put on a lot of muscle.
That guy's jacked. Yeah.
And Jeremy Allen, why is that his name? Yeah, he's pretty built up. But yeah, Timothée Chalamet is playing Bob Dylan. I saw the trailer, and I think he'll be good at that.
Listen, as long as they're good-looking people, everyone's going to go. That's all that matters, really, to me.
Well, Timothy is a little bit closer to Bob Dylan in a sense of sort of, I don't know, baby face or whatever, just shape
kind of lean.
Face. Yeah, lean.
Now, Dana, you've heard the song, I Can't Eat Another Hero.
Right. Or the song, We Don't Need Another Hero.
Yeah, but here we do.
Here we do.
Here on the podcast. Because Hero Bread is kind of what you've all been waiting for, at least I have, where I don't want to cut out bread. I don't want to stop eating rolls. No. I can't take it. I want them. That's all I care about in life. And now, because those aren't as good for you.
Right.
Give us a better bread that's still good and cut that stuff out.
Yeah.
And what do you got?
You got Hero Bread. So it's basically 0 to 1 grams of net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, lots of fiber. So like during the holidays, you can really go crazy with the bread. You got grilled cheese, cozy pumpkin soup, buttery Hawaiian rolls with the family dinner, French toast casserole around the holidays. But now with Hero, it's guilt-free in a sense because it's low carb, low sugar, high in fiber, but tastes amazing.
Yeah. And what do you want? I mean, you still get to eat bread. A lot of people just don't eat bread at all. They just have to cut it out. But if you could have it again, and it's not bad for you, it's actually good for you, then you got the low carbs, you got the fiber. So it's a plus. I mean, there's really no reason not to try it out.
The people from Hero Bread did a lot to give it texture, make it fluffier, taste and be like regular bread that's full of sugar and carbohydrates. So it's kind of like, I'm going to say it, a win-win.
Yeah. It's a strong statement, but yeah. And, also I eat croissants on the road sometimes because toast gets too squishy when if I did ever a room service or something, but they're coming out with croissants and they got some new surprises coming out. So Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order of their new recipe. Go to hero.co. Use the code Superfly at the checkout. That's Superfly at HERO.co. The Menendez brothers, and I will safely say I haven't followed the whole. All I've heard is they might be out by Thanksgiving. So when are they hosting the show after Thanksgiving?
Yes, and how long after they step outside the prison will they be on Church Chat on Saturday Night Live?
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Well. We did a naughty thing. Jesus doesn't like what we did with our parents. Now we're out. It writes itself.
Oh, yeah.
I'm inviting them on Church Chat.
If they don't host somehow, if they're somehow not hosting, it will be played by who?
You know what? Look at guy on the right, because Mikey Day is pretty lean, and he could definitely play a Menendez brother,
because this is way
not
back.
Offensive to Mikey, but I could see.
I think I could see him.
Yeah, they're kind of lean, fit. I do think off the top of my head, that the guy on the left, Eric, would be played by Colin Jost. I don't know.
Well, you might have to put the host in there. Who's the host?
Well, Eric and Lyle are not the hosts. They're just guests.
Now they're guests if they turn it down. They probably could pop up. Would it be a controversy if they come on?
No, I mean, they served their time. They're, for whatever reason, they're being let out, and they promised not to
kill anyone.
They said, what we did before, we're not going to do again, Judge. And he said, case dismissed.
We realize everyone got mad about it. So
but
would people get mad if they came on SNL? And you understand it would be a great thing for SNL, it'd be fun. But would people at home, which, hey, it's controversy.
Pop quiz. Did OJ ever come on SNL? Of course, he was never convicted.
Right.
So he could have come on.
He was convicted for the wrong thing that I would have gotten mad about. Someone stole his stuff and then he wanted it back. But he did a real no-no. Both, combined the sum of the parts.
Did Ted Bundy ever do a guest spot on Hee Haw?
Hee Haw was fucking big, but people don't know.
A Western Saturday Night Live or a Western Laughing, basically.
Yeah. Western sketches and songs.
I remember Bernie Burlstein going, because
he produced it, didn't he?
Yeah. And he goes, they take Hee Haw money just as they take any other kind of money in London. Money's money. It doesn't matter, because people look down their noses at Hee Haw. Compared to, whatever show.
Bernie did Alf also, right?
A puppet makes money. Rule number 2. No, we love Bernie, but Bernie was old time show business to us.
Muppets, puppets, any sort of puppets.
Actually, we have a show called The Uppets. They can be a Muppet or a puppet, and it covers all bases.
It's all funny. Okay, let's do more headlines because we've got a guest today, so we got a couple more.
We got to get to our guest.
Oh yeah. Well, are we what? Oh, who wants to know that? Oh, we're talking about trick-or-treating. Well, unfortunately, we taped this the second before Halloween happened. So this is costumes that I thought were funny, I saw. This is a person dressed as a foot.
A foot in a
foot. So for those of you at home, there's
is a foot in a thong. Is that what are those called? Those shoes?
A thong shoe.
A thong shoe.
Nowadays,
not the undergarment.
Thong.
Yes. And that shit. They have a big red toe, and it's a little crooked.
Is a G-string different than a thong, Heather?
No. But those are beach thongs. They're called thongs as well as underpants.
They used to be called something else that we can't say anymore, but they're called flip-flops, let's say.
Oh, they're called flip-flops now.
It's a guy dressed in a flip-flop, standing up in a flip-flop. Painting it's too hard to describe. It's funny though. I think it's funny. Horrible costume to walk around in. Horrible.
I'll announce the best costume. My older brother in New York went to a costume party like this. And so what he did was he just put all these, with rope or whatever, he put mirrors all over his whole body and all around him. And people would say, who are you going as? And he says, I'm going as you. Because they would see their reflection.
I can see my reflection in the other guy's costume.
Okay,
here's one. This is the Olympic pole vaulter.
And that's
remember his wiener?
And that's the costume.
You got it. I think the hard part about this is, A, you can't get a rod because the pole will fall. But also the pole, he made it just long enough where it's a hassle, but it's not totally debilitating to bump into people.
Right. It might be funnier if it was 10 foot across.
Yeah.
Like the real pole vaulter. I would be the pole vaulter in the pit and just have wheels on top of the pit and just roll around as pole vaulter when they land in the pit.
You just want to be the pit?
Well, look, I mean, there is no more.
Look.
Look, there's no more sexual sport. In high school, guess who got the girls? The pole vaulters. They're going down the runway. Course. They're very fast, very muscular. They've got this long phallic pole. They plant it Then they climax over the bar and land in a bed. I mean, it's really, it shouldn't be allowed.
Jizz on the bed.
It should not be allowed in high
Shouldn't.
school.
It's so perverted
Too
now that
sexual.
you say it. You should have the church lady talk about how bad the Olympics are.
Yeah,
that's
pole
funny.
vaulting is.
Yeah.
We like to take our pole. We grip it.
What are you for Halloween this year?
Skeletons in the closet.
Wait.
Oh, Skeletons in the Closet isn't
How long
bad.
did it take you to make this?
1 month.
You're telling me you made this whole costume from scratch?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, that's good. Skeletons in the Closet is good. I mean, that's a month of prep to go to a friend's party at a dorm in an apartment complex. That's a lot of work. I thought she was going to Heidi Klum's party.
You know, basically,
You're not impressed.
Halloween, really, what it's all about, David, just for a second here, is about 3 to 6-year-old kids who are jumping out of their seat. They're so excited to ring the doorbell. They have their costume. They say trick or treat, and they're adorable. I have trick or treat, I have candy, you know, and they're
free candy.
And then as the night goes on, that's 6:30 or 6. And then by 9:30, you got like a 15-year-old kid, you know, he's got a pillowcase. He's just ransacking.
And a gun.
He just puts sunglasses on. I'm a guy at the beach, you know, and he's just grabbing and grabbing. And then eventually there's a guy with an Uzi that opens fire.
Yeah, I'm robbing you. Yeah.
Did I?
Yeah. So, you know, it's funny because there's schools now I read that they're banning Halloween parties because Halloween is bad. I don't know how it's bad, but it's bad. So I think they should just say, okay, let's just say it's a costume party at school and you get free candy. Because that's all it is really to 99% of the people. I don't really know what the bad part is, but it's something that is against someone. So if it is, fine.
8th graders like to do mayhem. And I've done that. You know, throw eggs. They want to have shaving cream.
Right.
They want to get people wet and crazed out. You know, I was traumatized by Halloween because my parents moved October 31st. So my first day of kindergarten was Halloween. And so I'm late. I'm introduced to the class and they all have crazy masks on and they seem like scary. And I had no costume. We have to march around the playground. So they just gave me a plastic fireman's hat and that was my costume.
That's it.
Never forgot it, man. Trauma.
That was your first like SNL sketch. You're like, I'm a fireman. You should have come as Wayne or Garth or the church lady or something.
I don't know.
You blew it. You blew it.
Are you going to man the door this year and pass out candy?
Dude, to come up this hill, no one's that strong unless Carrie Underwood comes up with her legs.
Dressed as the Tommy Boy guy?
Yeah, that's what I am. I did post a lot of people when they post costumes of something I did. There's a lot of Emperor's New Groove.
Joe Dirt.
There's Joe Dirt's actually... I take it, it's very flattering, but a lot of them are too easy. Oh, I did have one. I'll play it next week of a kid dragging a meteor around town. That was funny. He really got it.
Oh, really? That's funny. That's
around a whole town, and he's doing lines from the movie.
That is.
But Joe Dirt is like flannel shirt, mullet, it's too easy. So there's bench warmers. That's kind of funny because one has a bike helmet on and one has a vest on. And then there's grown-ups, which... all you really need, it's really easy and lazy, but you just need one guy with a Kentucky Fried Chicken bucket over his head. And then that sells it.
And then you're good.
The rest of it is Spade and cargo shorts. Well, you've got Wayne and Garth. They can do
Garth,
church lady.
Any woman. It's always a woman. Oh, there it is.
Oh, look at this kid. Okay.
Oh, cute. That's the age.
Not a million years.
Oh.
But just for laughs, let's see how much you're worth.
Well, it ain't a meteor.
Yeah, it is.
He walks slow like I do.
Well,
what is that, a tire?
But it ain't no meteor. It's a big old frozen chunk of shit.
What?
Oh,
This kid's milking
See, them
it.
airplanes, they dump for toilets 36,000 feet, and the stuff freezes and falls to Earth.
Okay.
We call them Boeing bombs.
No, that can't be. That's not what it is.
That's a space peanut.
I'm afraid so. You see the peanut? Dead giveaway.
Yeah, that's a space peanut.
All right, that's enough.
Yeah, I'm afraid not.
Yeah. I don't want to give away the whole movie.
It makes me like that movie because it's so ridiculous. Movies are fun, just so ridiculous.
I like that kid. He gets in. When you got the AC/DC shirt, There's people at Comic-Con that one guy has a really good one with a full overalls, full real meteor. I think it's a real meteor, Dana.
I gotta say, I'm just gonna insert this it's kind of one of the most flattering things you could do as a comedian doing characters in movies or on Saturday Night Live. And decades later, people and young people are dressing up as them. It's very flattering. It's like
I do love it. Yeah.
It lasted. I think that comedy, when I was coming through my formative years, Monty Python and stuff, bonding over comedy, really even more than drama, catchphrases and stuff.
For sure. Oh, when we were in high school, just all we cared about was comedy movies.
Yeah, totally.
So fun. Mm-hmm. All right, next one. What else? Running out of time. We're getting close to the end.
We're getting close to the end, folks.
We have a guest.
Go over.
Oh, is another costume? This is so weird. I don't know how they do it.
Hi guys, good morning. What?
Even better, he does that. Okay. No, don't get to figure it out.
No, I just did that last second. I just figured it out.
You did?
Hi guys,
Well, his real feet are out the bottom.
Is it a magic trick? I didn't get it.
Optical illusion, or is it a visual? It's a very good effect. Can we see it one more time?
Yeah.
For people who are just listening.
I like that he goes from that to standing up. That feels like a better trick.
That's pretty good. I'm not sure I totally figured it out.
Yeah, I like that you're like, oh, that old chestnut, and then you thought.
Well, I thought his left arm would be fake, but it didn't look fake. Like half his body would. Yeah. So it's an optical illusion, or it's a deep fake, or it's AI, or something. So.
AI can really, when I look at Instagram, any news report about something can be an AI. They fake the voice now. Any photos of people can be AI. Anything they say. So it's getting scarier to say this is real. This scares me. This doesn't. You just don't know 100% anymore.
Nope. The only good news is like within 3 or 5 years, Mike Myers and I could just be hanging out. What's up, man? Hey, let's go to the AI and just say the AI. Wayne's World 3. And just some silly plot. Click the button, and within 1 second, we'll have a 90-minute feature film. Will be digital copies of ourselves from 30 years ago, and the movie will be a hit.
I want to do a hologram stand-up where we go on the road. You don't go on the road. You just do They get in there in their own house, or they get with people, and you appear on the stage and do your act.
They kind of.
I think that's going to happen.
That's happened. I think Todd Rundgren did.
I already did a tour. Yeah, it happened.
You can do it from one place and it beams into all the living rooms. But yeah, hologram.
Beam me up, Dana.
Mm-hmm. You fight technology. You're more fearful of
fight
technology.
Every day.
You're like,
I go, no.
Quick impression of you fighting technology 2024. Okay. I don't understand it. I can't believe it. It's too much for me. I don't like it. It's not my best.
Devil.
You're the devil.
Take it away.
You could do a quick impression of me too if you want.
Okay, here's Dana. That's you getting your root canal. Give me another liquid Vicodin. You got a Vicodin drip there like a gerbil.
Here's you watching me get the root canal with closed circuit. You found out where it was. You're watching me on a little TV screen in your mansion.
And then I press a button. More pain. Go deeper.
Less Novocaine. Fake Novocaine.
Yeah.
I don't think Dana. This is accurate of you, but it's kind of like
here's how fake your dentist is. That because you got the cheapest guy. So at the end he's running out. So he just melts down Advils and puts them in an iron. Then he goes like this, and then you get the steam of the steamed Advil.
Here's you with a closed circuit camera out in the parking lot, watching me just in pain, swollen up, going to my car. Heather, look.
Heather, help me look.
It's not my best impression, but it's just an impression. It doesn't have to be accurate.
And that one stung because it was so accurate.
Here's an impression of you watching me kill at the Comedy Store.
No, here's me.
Here's you watching me do a bit at the Comedy Store and deciding that you might use it for your own act.
Oh, yeah. Here's me. Switch that word. Switch that word.
Word. He'll never know. Get laughs.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if I can generate those kind of laughs. But yeah. By the way, last night I went to the Comedy Store to say hi to Bobby Lee and Santino. They were doing there together. And then, of course, I went up. Stage hog. So I went up and it was pretty fun. Oh, you know what I did do though, Dana?
We have all this new material that hasn't been exposed yet.
I got my drink, my water, because I do it between jokes. I don't have to explain that. I go like this. Live fly buzzing in the water, live going in my mouth.
On stage.
Stopped it. Freaked out. Couldn't remember my act. I'm like, what do I do?
Did you tell the audience what just happened? You could do 10 minutes.
I did not. Isn't that funny? I did not.
You hid it from the audience?
I don't want to give away all my tricks. I just was like, I thought they'd be so grossed out because it was like this. It bumped my mouth. Sick. Dude, I couldn't even focus. I barely killed and barely got a standing ovation.
Did you just one standing ovation? Because that's a low bar. Ladies and gentlemen, David Spade is on the way to his car. Wait a minute, he's coming back out again.
What? When I did my special, they do, I think they did do a standing ovation, Heather, but I think if I might have earned it, but it went well, but I think they feel like they should.
Well,
they stood up when I came out. That's good.
Who doesn't?
But, it's hard.
Yeah. I mean, well, now you're like, they're thanking you for the years of fun.
3,000. The one before it was in Minnesota, which I loved, the theater.
Great crowds there. Yeah.
But it was about 3 years ago. And I couldn't hear my opener, Bobby, killing. And he usually does really well. And I'm like, oh no, they're a tough crowd. I told you this. So I go on and they're like this. And then I'm not doing as well. And have you ever had a show that's important and you're like, this is going to be a tough set, and we're not just at a comedy club. It's like a tough set when we're filming it. And so I'm working. And then I realized they're all on masks, but I didn't know. And so the laughs would be like, ha ha, but now they're like this.
You didn't know the audience was masked?
No, I said, oh, I don't want to. I said, they go, I think that one, because of COVID, I go, no, I don't want that. But then they never said, oh, you don't have any say in it. And, I'm like, oh, is that why they weren't? And I was worried about so many other things. I go, I don't know if it was worth it. I did like the special. That's not the problem. It's just
special.
And they were a good crowd, but you can't hear it as much. And so there's more pausing because you're like, but this one was like, that's just crowd. Was not what comedy was built for, as a masked crowd. Yeah. Masks are for robbers or maybe magicians, but they're not for a comedy crowd. Yeah, Nate did one during COVID, and he had everyone sit 10 feet away from each other. Oh, rather than I don't know if they had masks on, but they were all back, and it was just it was still funny. But that's just one like now I get my special. Like Nate was like, "This will be great," and then it wound up being funny. But that's not the ideal situation. You just want a regular comedy, and this one was a regular theater, Denver. 2 shows, a lot of fun. So that's not even out. It won't be out for a while. It must have been a blast having all that energy come at you. I did one where, it was sort of near a college, and a lot of the kids had free dental care. But anyway, a lot of them apparently had dental work the day that I was going to shoot my special. So a good amount of the audience had cotton in their mouth. and I couldn't really hear them, but I shot the special. But you ever have a set like that where you come out and they're just not laughing that hard, and halfway through you go, they had dental work today, it's free at the college, and all their mouths are full of cotton. And I go, why am I shooting this special in this situation? But I just did the best I could. I shot a special, and I realized that they all had a pillow over their face. I knew you were going somewhere. We go from mask to cotton. Okay, so why though, David? Let's just follow this scenario. Why would they all have a pillow over their face? Well, that's a great question, because that day was a pillow fight they had on this campus, and then they were so tired they fell asleep face down in their pillows. But it was still a pretty good show. I did a special in a sort of sketchy area of the country, and everyone in the audience had a hood over their
over them. So,
okay.
and
Let's look at a clip. I think we have a lot of clips for that.
They're actually the worst special is when the tickets just didn't sell and the whole theater was empty.
Oh,
and they
if
said
it's not full,
you got to shoot
tough.
it anyway. You got to shoot it anyway. It was just one person out there, and his name was David Spade, and I thank you for that.
All right, we will go. Should we talk about? No, we'll go. Well, I'll talk about it next time. Okay, it's nice meeting you, Dana, and this is a really fun one. And let's bring on our guest right now.
Yeah, we have a great guest today. He's been on our podcast before, ladies and
He's
gentlemen.
in the waiting room for a half hour.
Ladies and gentlemen, we present to you the one and only comedy legend, because he's had his fingerprints all over comedy for at least 2 decades.
From 40-Year-Old Virgin to Superbad, to
other movies and specials. Anyway, what can't this fella do? And he's going to tell us about his new charitable events coming up. It's just very cool of him.
We're going to talk about stand-up and everything fun.
And what
Judd
is this
Apatow.
person's name? Judd Apatow.
Yeah, there you go.
Apatow.
Apatow.
We still don't know.
You feeling fancy today?
I'm going to call you a legend.
Yes.
You like
I'm
that?
going to call you Apatudio.
You like that? Just for the
Apatudio.
amount of time you've been part of the American comedy scene.
We've been around a long time.
That's how
Judd,
you get. That's why you're a
quick
legend.
question. Enough about your credits. There are plenty. It looks like a CVS receipt. Now, Dane had a question about the baseball game. This will be on Friday. And so the games
It may be
will
over, but I
may
just
be over.
wanted to make the comment, and you can answer the question. Baseball as a sport.
Yeah.
If you're going to, the guy who makes, I'm not going to pick on Aaron Judge, anybody who's on a cold streak, 19
Icy.
strikeouts in a row, could you take a Judd, a David, or me, put us in the same position, and then the team would be the same? Nothing would change. We wouldn't get a hit either. There's no other sport, baseball, basketball, you'd be killed. But baseball, basketball, football. But in baseball, I thought to myself, I can do as good as Aaron Judge is doing most of the
plate.
time.
It's
But
brutal,
you couldn't
like
feel.
when they get the yips. You know, when like someone gets the yips and they can't pitch or. And
what is it?
I
Do you
relate
know
to
baseball that well? I mean, do you have
you go to the
any
games. Someone said they
specifics for
saw you.
people?
Is that true?
I went to a couple of Dodger games and I went and the person who brought me said, "These are great tickets. You're right, behind the plate." And I'm like, "Oh no, does that mean like I'm on camera the whole time?"
Every
He's
second.
Like, no, it's just you're at the corner. It's pretty rare. I'm literally in the center the entire game for 3 hours. Me staring, not wanting to do what I normally do, which is like eat hot dogs and burgers and not pay attention. So I just sat there like frozen for 3 hours.
How far was John Hamm from you? What was the Rogues Gallery of
Proximity.
stars?
I did see Ham. I saw Mary Hart. There was definitely some heart happening there.
God, how did she score that directly? She's in like the shot when they show the batter up close. She's like right next to the bat, she's in the tight shot.
There's a
too.
fold-up chair. If the ump is brawny enough, there's a fold-up chair right behind him. And I thought I saw Lorne Michaels sneaking a peek over the shoulder. Just one quick insert here. They know that, so sunflower seeds are big. I understand that. They know they're going to be seeing 50, 60 shots of the coach of the Yankees spitting out sunflower seeds. So they know it's coming. They're going to spit them out. It's just not a good look. I mean, what do you think about this? Because this is all over the web. I mean, this is blowing up.
Well,
that's
what I was like on camera. My whole thing was don't eat. Don't eat.
No,
that's hard to tell Judd that.
Understand how much you eat, because now that they have the pitching clock, the game's faster. Right. So, they rush the pitchers to pitch. So the game is like 40 minutes shorter, which means I can't do the third shift of hot dogs. I used to have like a couple in the beginning, a couple 5 innings later, Now I
Is there
can't.
an eating clock?
What? You eat 4 hot dogs in a game?
You fat ass. Jesus. Dodger dogs are 2 feet long.
The game means nothing. It's all about the relish and the mustard.
It's settling in and eating. That's the beauty. And you probably have a waitress.
Well, that's the best place to have a hot dog is a baseball game.
There's hard liquor. You get a seat that's close. Suddenly it's full on hard liquor.
The thing, Dana, when you go to these games, if everything goes wrong and you're totally bored, you can watch the game. But there's so much other things going on. That's why Judd wants to not just sit there and stare at the game. He's like, oh my God.
Well,
I have another question.
A super fan, by the way, during the regular season, it's the 150th game. The team's in last place is still riveted by the game. But every sport, and especially baseball, when it comes to the World Series, I'm riveted by every single second. But in the middle of the season, I'm not going there.
Dips a little.
But I love the World Series. I think it's incredible. Judd, comment.
Well, I think it was shocking to see the Mets play so well. And oh God.
Oh my God.
Oh, get that pussy cat out of there.
It's a preview for Cat NATO.
I prefer the Mets when they're terrible. Like when they start winning, I almost start drifting as a fan. Because when I was a kid, they were always so bad. I love to be the only fan at the stadium.
Yes.
So I have trouble when they're great, but it was fun to see the Mets play well.
Yep.
Wait, I have this is a controversial question. This is just in at press time, which is way before this airs. But then this chubby, sort of portly fat guy that tried to take the ball out of the glove.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was that heavy. We want to disparage his look.
Yeah, he was like me.
He was husky. Husky is the most benign word about.
Dad bod. He had a dad bod.
Oh yeah, he had dad bod. Farley always said, "I'm a husky."
I know.
That's the size he wears. Okay, so husky guy and his buddy who get. I mean, I get all the hijinks and hey, it's your team, but when you are snapping Mookie Betts' clavicle while you're bending his hand back and giving him carpal tunnel and stealing the ball, fine. And they get kicked out, fine. But they're back. They're allowed to come back the next game. I don't think they should be allowed. That was shocking.
If there is a next game in New York, whoops. We don't know. This comes out 2 weeks from now.
No, there is for sure a game after that game. I don't know if there's a game after that game.
Well, it's sudden death for the Yankees every game. They have to win.
You don't care that they're coming back. You don't care.
I'm intrigued by both teams. I just think that you can't be that good and not explode like they did last night for 10 runs. And can you use the word, are they choking the yips? I mean, in the first 3 games, or just a little bit of luck on the Dodgers side with throwing people out and,
Judd. What's the answer, Judd?
One might say, I'm not a big expert on this, but it might.
Yes, you are. Compared to us,
that the Dodgers are playing really well. I mean, as a Mets fan, it's hard to.
That's a hot take.
That's a crazy. Go out on a limb.
I like all the teams. I like the Mets, the Dodgers, the Yankees.
They're scoring more points.
I'm not even rooting for anybody. I'm kind of like
I root for players.
Space.
I want Aaron Judge to go crazy. I root for the players because my heart goes out to anybody who's on that stage who's that brilliant since he's 10 years old and watching him struggle like that. So I root for players. Mm-hmm.
Listen. By the way, this just in, the Yankees allowed the players to come back, but the MLB overruled it
and banned them. Wow,
there you go.
Mm-hmm. I think that's more probably
forever.
Judd, we don't have a ticker tape here. We just have a couple blurbs.
We're going to see similar-looking men at the Dodger Stadium, with fake mustaches and noses on, seated in the exact same place. So I think there's more to this story than what we're hearing.
Well, they got the facial recognition technology like it matters.
Oh, that's right. AI.
Yes.
AI finally comes to the rescue. All right, what about Aaron Judge? His life is all green lights. If he's got a little bit of trouble, he'll be fine. Because he's like 6'8". Is that possible? 6'8"? Is that even a number that's possible? Oh yeah, it is because it's on every girl's Instagram. The guy's got to be minimum 6'8".
Yeah, it is kind of weird when you're really good looking and gigantic, and then a superstar athlete and worth hundreds of millions of dollars. You're kind of like, is there anything that's bugging you right now in life?
Yeah, I know.
You know
Dana's like crying for the guy.
They say that like a lot of the reason why people are the quarterback is because they were good looking in junior high and high school, and they just kind of keep getting opportunities due to their sexiness and handsomeness to play. We're
Sexy
like the really
privilege.
goofy, ugly guy who might have become great. Not talking about myself, but maybe never gets a shot. They're fast.
He never got in there.
And the handsome guys get the shots, and next thing you know, every quarterback looks like Tom Brady. It's
even backups are good looking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I love about comedy. It doesn't matter what your mug is. You can have any kind of look.
Like
if
us.
you're funny, people, because I was sort of a cutesy guy for a long time until I reached
Adorable.
this age.
Adorable.
I was
Still
and
adorable.
Spade and I were like, you don't look
two
funny.
cutest.
I was told that by some manager. You don't look funny, kid.
Not funny enough.
You don't look funny. You don't look
Well,
funny.
I have a question for Judd about the state of showbiz because Judd's got his
Judd has a lot to
pulse
say.
or whatever.
Uh-huh.
I just read because we were sort of bitching about how in LA there's not a lot of shooting because or at least the wrong kind.
You mean
so
photography
there's
of film production?
There's not enough tax credits. Everyone goes to Georgia. We all know this. Judd knows this better than anyone. One of the first things, Judd, when you get a budget of a movie is like, where do you shoot it? Right? Isn't that an early?
That's right.
It's not always LA unless the movie takes place in LA, right?
Well, they always want you to make the budget lower. I think in the old days you could kind of convince them it would be better in LA. Now I think they just go to Prague. It looks like LA. Go to Prague. I remember we did a movie in Shreveport, Louisiana with Harold Ramis. And so we did it to get the tax break. And we kept hearing screaming like, and it was ruining all the takes. And we're like, what are we next door to? And they said, it's a monkey sanctuary where after they test monkeys, that's where they live out their day. That's where they send you to make a movie, not LA, which has all the good equipment.
Do you switch it out and make your film
monkeys.
a Tarzan movie, even if it's a romantic comedy? I mean, you write fast. I mean, come on, we just make it
on the fly.
Jungle Cruise 2.
Dana, this just in. So they're changing. Gavin Newsom is changing the tax credit in LA because of our podcast. They only had $350 million a year credit. They just bumped it to $700 million, and that's not going to go into effect till next summer, so a year. But I think it's okay. It's not enough when everything is in billions now. Everything you hear about is a billion win here, 2 billion, 20 billion, 100 billion. So when you still have an M in front of it, it doesn't sound like it's a huge help, but it will help. So I appreciate the effort, but we got a lot of crew. We got a lot of people here that want to work, and they're in the Tinseltown, Hollywood, and we got to make it a little easier. We have studios there all over the place. Don't want them to go down.
Yeah, we don't want.
We need a tax break, which is more than Jessica Alba has in the bank.
Yeah, at any given time.
I personally love
rich.
the businessman artist thing. I'm envious, but when I see people leveraging whatever their career is and then becoming a gazillionaire with different products, it's like,
How come you never bought like a cell service?
Yeah, Dana.
I thought in the 90s, you couldn't even do a commercial. In the 80s, Hans and Franz were offered just do it. The first Nike campaign, just do it. Couldn't do it. Weren't allowed to do it.
Why? Who said no?
Just forces at play. It's not what we do. And then it flipped. And now you see even cast members that are out of SNL doing massive campaigns for commercials. So
they leave the show to do a commercial and come back.
I turned down a lot of commercials, and I would have gone. I'm fine, but I would have gone back and done them. Leno was right. Leno did Doritos. And people
do Doritos.
I remember I had a friend who left SNL, and they did a commercial for the phone company, and got paid more money than they got paid for like 8 years on SNL.
Yes. Well,
Dana, I did one for MCI. No, I did one for
What's in your wallet? Weren't you one of the
1-800-collect? I do. I did that too.
No.
But when I 1-800-collect, where I go, hey, call, and I was on a payphone going, hey, call 1-800-collect, beep boop bop boop beep bop. You know, I did that. Anyway, hilarious. So when I did a Playboy interview, which is like kind of a big interview, not just Playboy, but it's just a big interview. And so Gervitz called me and he goes, I'm sorry. I'm reading this interview. I'm sorry. I just got a call from MCI. You didn't happen to say in the interview you do commercials for 1-800-collect, but you don't really use that for collect calls. You use Sprint. Did you say that? I'm sorry. All the people that are going to have to give back their millions of dollars take one step forward. That's you, Spade.
Is that what happened?
Are you? Yeah, they called and said, we want our money back.
And you apologized.
And I said, no, I was just saying that.
Kidding.
There's literally no defense. I was like, I was just being honest.
I would just say that it's opposite. In those days, it was like, oh, you do a commercial, you're selling out. No. If you do a shitty movie with a shitty director, and that's your face on the face of a shitty movie, that's selling out. Everyone knows when we see our heroes doing a commercial, they're getting paid a lot of money. But this is not their creative area.
Right.
This is not their
But
art.
you want them to hopefully be decent. So
that's
turn
a
down ones that
bonus.
aren't quite there. But they're never going to be a 10 out of 10, usually.
So, Judd, would you like a commercial? Judd Apatow for...
Would you direct a Super Bowl one? And are you right now?
Well, here's the thing. I got offered a Super Bowl commercial, and some company wanted to do some sort of variation of Seth and Paul doing, you know how I know you're gay as a
Paul
Super Bowl
Rudd,
ad.
yeah.
And I was like,
gay, would it be? What would it be?
I don't think that'll work.
I don't either.
And they hadn't asked them yet. So I just said no, like I don't see how you can adjust that joke to make it work.
Right.
Then I watched the Super Bowl. They're both in it. They made millions, and it was funny. Like they all
there you go.
You cut yourself out of the equation. Hilarious.
I didn't believe in ourselves.
Did you turn the TV off and storm out of the room when you saw that?
I was upset.
Yeah. The one thing I wanted to ask you, just because I'm curious, because we briefly talked about it a little while back, is just the culture of Hollywood in terms of what they'll green light. And I know now you just said something interesting and it wasn't negative or whiny. It was just sort of like observing that when you pitch things, if it's subtle and kind of quiet, like something like The Office or whatever, they want something that can trend or make noise or be noisy as a concept.
Noisy,
you know, chimpanzees go on a spaceship and then come back to Earth, and you know, Eartha Kitt is alive and is president of the United States. You got it. So how are you navigating that? I know we're going to talk about your stand-up in a second, but as a filmmaker,
well, I have a new theory, which is I feel like everything is like in the newspaper business. If it bleeds, it leads. Like everything is doom scrolling because they don't want you to shut anything off. So they're obsessed with it being really intense. That's why almost everything on the streamers is either about the biggest star in the world or a serial killer.
Right.
Like everything is a thriller. Everything is like intense,
hypersexual.
Yeah,
you know, some actress, you know, like Nicole Kidman, which I love her shows because they're just sexy thrillers.
Because she's in every one.
And she's in a lot. Good for her.
God,
it's all like completion rate. Like we must have them completed. We could not put on a film if anyone shuts it off. And so there's an intensity to everything, whether it's sexy or exciting or terrifying. And I think it changes it so you don't have quieter, subtler, whatever funny human things, because I think they're afraid people are going to shut it off or not go.
Yeah.
And you lose a lot of good stuff when everything is so wired, you know?
Yeah. Every TikTok starts with, I just got shot. And then you go, really? And they go, let me back up a minute. So I was born in Michigan. And everyone's like, oh my God. And then it never gets to, you know, it takes, and I hate when it says wait for it on it. Wait for it so I can make money when it hits a minute. Wait for it.
Yeah.
And so you wait for it. And I'm like, wasn't worth the wait. Yeah.
I think if you
have to tell you
to it, it's everywhere. Is this like
Judd, I think when Nicole Kidman comes out at the beginning of AMC, she should tell you, in this movie, we want you to watch the whole thing. It's like saying wait for it. It's like ideally stay till the end.
Well, I have to say the movie going experience now is bigger and better for me than it's ever been, because only in church or in a movie theater are you pretty much required to turn off your phone, or basically on takeoff on a plane. So you go into a dark theater, so you turn it off, and you're trapped in the movie, where you might click away if you had 1,000 choices, but you hang with it. And then a lot of times, that was a great movie. And it's so peaceful. I pay it to go to a matinee just because I'm in a dark room looking at a screen with imagery.
It's fun. It's still
you
fun.
shut the world off. Judd, comment?
I think there's nothing better than laughing in a movie theater with a lot of people, and we need more. Let's do more.
You know, I miss Judd preview screenings when it goes well. It's so fun.
When
see
you
the movie for the first time. Oh my god!
When you've been working on it for years and you show it to people for the first time. I remember when we showed Superbad for the first time. I convinced Cameron Crowe to come to just give us notes if we screwed anything up, and it just killed so hard. It was like winning the Super Bowl. It was just
so great.
It was so funny. It was like Carvey on SNL doing Biden.
Yeah,
you know?
Come on. Yeah. And guess what? And by the way, come on, folks, let's get real. Let's get real time and gotta do it. You know, that was that was a little nerve wracking. I thought for the first one, and I think I overdid his walk a little bit when I came out, but because
I go, did he get shot?
You know, you don't see it. You know, I had never seen myself do Biden, so I made adjustments. But I was waiting for someone to maybe heckle me, and I had it locked and loaded. Get your facts straight, Jack. I was ready for that. But so far, the New York Times co-signed it, so I'm happy. Yeah.
I remember when I heard it the first time, and I said to you, I go, look at Dana. Everyone's struggling to figure out their Biden. And you have it just nailed quietly in your own little world. And I it was the dream that they would have you do it on the show. I'm glad that all worked out.
Bizarrely, was invited to do it before Biden before the debate problem. And then afterwards, Lorne Michaels you'll come in, you know, he just wanted me to be there. But anyway, it's fun to be able to do a character that's kind of ironically new and then is leaving the stage very soon. So it's like a little, you know.
You know what I like about it? It's like you alpha dog the whole show. You're like, oh, by the way, I'm still the best one who ever did it. Boom.
Yeah. This is my favorite Superfly episode so far.
I think they didn't know they needed a good Biden until they saw it. And they were like, oh, good. This is a great addition.
Who would be the other character that you have loaded that you're like, second half?
I would love to do James Carvell currently on those Zooms leaning over. Yeah, you know, and I like the Southerners. I do like both. We both love Senator John Kennedy. Who does the. Now, you tweeted on October 4th, your words, not mine, that you would believe. So anyway, that's those two. If they were invited, I would try to do a deep thing on them. So
no one does RFK. Is it offensive to try to do RFK?
I did it here, only explaining what dystonia is. I have a brother with dystonia, and it's not lethal, but his vocal cords are just constricting, and so that's his voice. It doesn't stop him, but it is all stuck back there, and you have to get used to listening to it. I
think it's just hard to listen to. That's
I get used to it. I listen to him on Joe Rogan, and
but the ladies like it, so it's not hurting them.
Yeah.
Well, look, he's a Kennedy. They go, oh, did he have anything going on? Well, look at his uncle and dad. Come on. I mean,
born with a boner.
But is a Republican Kennedy a Kennedy? How does he hit on the ladies setting up Dana?
I don't know.
Let me hear him hit on.
How does Trump? Ladies. It's unbelievable.
A Republican, Bobby Kennedy Jr. or the.
No,
I do Jack Kennedy and Bobby Kennedy from heaven talking about your son. You know, your son is certainly a colorful character. Has very extraordinary positions on different issues. I know. I agree, Jack. He dances to his own tune. It's just the same accent, but slightly more Bugs Bunny. But
I like that they're so compassionate about him. They're not mad.
Well, they would be. You know how Jack Kennedy. If you ever want to just be happy, watch a John F. Kennedy press conference in 1961 or two. The charm and it's off the charts. The way he was. I see you're a question, and then he would do some self-effacing joke. I mean, what a master of that, you know. So. Anyway, I don't know how we got here, but where should we go next? But yeah, I'm happy to do other things on the show, but it's been fun to do Biden. And I do try to George Bush seniorize it in that I take liberty. He never said, I can't believe it's not butter. I make it a character. And when I'm doing the character, I like the character I'm doing. Like I like the character of Joe Biden that I do. So anyway, that's all I got to say.
Well, he's a nice man.
Yeah, I mean, it's a human thing. Neil Young used to say that about politics. It's a human thing, man. Because when I told him I was going to the White House, we were after SNL, we were sitting, I go to the White House to George Bush Sr. He goes, it's a human thing, man. So in the end of the day, all the politics, it's a human thing. And so I would love President Biden to come on and just be fun to do a little thing with him.
Judd went to Coachella with Biden, I think.
Judd
hangs with all the celebs.
So enough about that. Now,
what about your comedy?
What are you doing with this comedy thing right now?
I'm at the New York Comedy Festival. I'm at the Beacon Theater on November 9.
You're headlining the Beacon by yourself?
I have some friends. It's surprise guests. Last time I did it, Sandler came and Mike Birbiglia. So this time it's always it's a secret, but there will be people there that you'll be happier that they're there than I'm there. You're kind of really just hoping I tricked people into joining me, and that's the reason to go. And I can say right now, there are people way better than me on the bill, secret people you'll be excited about.
So, but are you going last? Are you headlining?
Well, that's always the question, isn't it?
Because when we do Largo, sometimes it's Judd's night.
Yep.
And I'll go on and go over to see Judd and hang out. But sometimes, Judd, you do beginning and then middle and then end, right?
Sometimes I do like 20 here, 20 there.
Yeah.
Depending on how it's going. But I'm also in Atlanta at the Variety Playhouse this Sunday. These are all benefits for hurricane relief. Like David Spade, I've made all my shows benefits for the Red Cross for hurricane relief. Right, David?
That's nice, yeah. Right? I gave fat ones to the Red Cross about 10 years ago, remember? I think you remember because I put out a press release.
That's so
they haven't spent it all. They can't spend it all.
So you can juddapatow.com/events. And the one in Atlanta, the money goes to Georgia. And the one in New York, the money goes to North Carolina.
That's cool. What's funny? What's the date of the Beacon one?
It's the 9th of November, and it's the 3rd in Atlanta.
And what day of the week is the 9th?
It's Saturday. Okay. And it's just Saturday. A few days after the election. So it could be any kind of night, depending on where you sit.
Because I was going to, if it was a night I could be there, because I will be in New York, but if it's Saturday night, it might be tricky. I was just going to be in the audience and raise my hand and then, and then come up and do Biden.
Do you have a show that night?
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Probably. But I happen to be there. And then, so that's the 9th at the Beacon for the hurricane relief. And then the second ones is on what night of the week?
On the 3rd in Atlanta at the Variety.
It's a Saturday, right?
Got it.
It's funny when you give money to Red Cross or something and you do a nice gesture immediately after someone like Taylor Swift gives $1 million. Everyone goes, and wait, what'd you give again? I go, well, listen, it all is thrown into the pot.
$1 million became the kind of bar of like,
it has to be at least $1 million or
and
what are you doing?
You can't be like, I'm going to give $75,000. And it's like,
and someone else gives $10 million.
I know. That's the problem is that when you do these things, you say, like, you're going to do an event, you'll make some money, and then the money just goes there. We don't need to know how much. It's all positive vibes. It's all going to a good thing. Go ahead.
Do people give privately anymore? Or is that not in fashion?
You're not allowed to not brag about it.
Okay. Well, I could do some retroactive bragging then. So I was not posting on.
It's like you try to give money to a politician, and then Elon Musk gives them $150 million.
Yeah, that's right.
I know.
It's like when you see someone go, "Oh, we saw George Clooney leaving this restaurant, and TMZ caught him giving a bum $100." I mean, a homeless guy. I mean, a not home guy, whatever it's called.
Well,
and then they go, "Oh, well, when there's 18 paparazzi there, I'll give 200. How about that?"
It's $1,000 for $1,000. Let's talk about trending. Bang for your buck. You go to a diner with friends or whatever, and you leave $1,000 cash tip. So you're for people that were blessed by America in our lives, we can do that. And that'll trend big, you know. But if you give 500,000 instead of $1 million for hurricane relief, people are like, yeah.
Yeah. Sandra Bullock gave more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sandy.
Yeah. But when you give a big tip at a restaurant like that, like then the next time you come back, when you bring it back down to 22%, then you're dead.
Oh, yeah. They always heard, it's true. Bill Murray said I think he said he had to carry 20s during SNL. Then now it's 50s. Now it's 100s. Because if anyone gets a little less, they go, a little tough out there in the career.
Bill Murray.
Because you're only getting
financial
100
problems
every time. Look at when they take my bag down to the car. It used to be the bellman. Then he's gone. Then there's another guy with the trunk open. Mr. Spade, this all good? I'm like, oh, that guy gave it to that guy. I have to dust my bag for Prince to see who I give money to.
I
grazed it.
If you go to the hardware store and on the screen, it asks you what your tip is. What's your move?
For buying nails?
Yeah.
I go, well,
a tip
I just
for
went and
nails?
picked them up and brought it here. So
I just tip half. I just tip half. And when I go to a Four Seasons or that kind of hotel, I pack my jacket with 20s. Yeah, if it's half at a restaurant, I pack my jacket with 20s like a magician.
50%.
And then any guy leaping valet or whatever, it takes me usually, which I'm fine doing this. I know it's not what's going to break me. It takes me about $200 to get to my room. But then I go, well, why not? I mean, I worked on tips. Did you ever a waiter or a busboy?
I was a busboy. I was a busboy at the East Side Comedy Club on Long Island. Because I wanted to watch comedians when I was in high school. First, I was a dishwasher.
I had the same trajectory. Yeah,
dishwasher
was.
But I couldn't see the show because I was in the kitchen. I was like, this is a miscalculation. I can't see. It was like literally like Rosie O'Donnell.
Was it the
Eddie
Hobart
Murphy,
3000 where you'd run it through a thing?
The Hobart?
Hobart 3000 was my dishwasher, and the dishes would pile up. You'd get no break, and I would eat off the plates that were left over.
Would you eat off of it? Because I had a friend who was a waiter, and he ate like half a hamburger off of someone's plate, and then both his arms got hives. So we all realized not to do that.
I ate everything when I was a
hives from a hamburger. I can't connect those dots.
Well, who knows what saliva from the
That's what he told his girlfriend.
Yeah.
She goes, how'd you get these bumps? He's like, babe, I'm a busboy. I ate the wrong hamburger.
I loved being a dishwasher. I loved just having my hands and everyone's melting wet buns and breads. And it was like a video game because they would dump the dishes and you had to clean them fast. So the area where the dishes got dumped didn't get too loaded up.
Right.
And it was like a human video game.
Yeah. And then you'd stack them and they'd be hot. You stack the bread roll plates and and then you'd have to mop the entire kitchen for the night shift or day shift and clean up for hours afterwards.
When I was doing those, you put them all in the racks, Judd, and you push them into the steamy machine. And that smell, if I cut through the kitchen and you smell it, I just go, oh my God, I'm so glad I'm not doing that anymore. It's so hard.
Oh, I get the opposite. I'm just like, oh my God, that was so fun. I used to put on Foreigner 4 and listen to Jukebox Hero while I mop the floor at 1:30 in the morning.
Okay, that's cool.
It was a Monday. All right. Well, I think that's enough for Judd. He did a great job. We had a lot of fun with Judd. He had his curtains almost closed. He did everything right.
Let me just ask you one quick question. Where are you in your stand-up right now? Are you in shape? Do you have a new thing? Are you in your stand-up or?
I do have a new hour, and I think it's kind of interesting. I tell a very long story about taking ayahuasca that leads to a lot of other kind of stories about youthful trauma that is kind of interesting. I usually don't tell like a really long story, but this is such a crazy one.
Sometimes
people
they're
talk
good.
about ayahuasca on this podcast and our other sister podcasts. Ayahuasca, MDMA, whatever. Neil Brennan.
Have you done the ayahuasca?
I have not. I did mushrooms in my 20s, and I thought, I'm good.
David? No, David's not. He's not going to do that.
He's not
risky like that. I did read that you were shopping with Leslie and you were sitting over on the side or something. There's a lot of reports on you sometimes on the sites. And a photo. And a photo.
Although one thing, David, you'll relate to is when I took ayahuasca, my back was out, and I thought, what if I'm tripping and just start like leaping, but with a bad back? Yeah. And that's why you can't do it, because your back or your neck will go
my
out.
Neck, yeah. Would it fix it?
Or it would fix it, and it would never.
Because I'm sure a lot of it's mental.
Were you kind of, without being pithy, were you fixed a little bit, or I guess it's in your stand-up?
Was I what a bit
fixed? Neil Brennan just said it between ayahuasca and MDMA, and this is all public knowledge or whatever, he kind of got out of his depression. It really helped him, at least last time we talked.
It was I'm Catholic now. That's the only big change.
That's a fix.
Me too.
I'm Lutheran. I'm Lutheran.
I'm Lutheran too. I was raised Lutheran.
There you go.
Yeah. So yeah.
All
okay.
Right. Well,
interesting.
Thank you, Judd.
Well, have a nice time in New York. If I'm not in the show, I'll drop by.
Stop by after dress.
Yeah, I could just squeeze over there. All right, Judd.
Miss you. I'll see you soon. Judd's stand-up is funny. Go see it. I've seen it. This has been a presentation of Odyssey. Superfly is executive produced by Dana Carvey and David Spade, Jenna Weiss-Berman of Odyssey, Heather Santoro, and Greg Holtzman. Hope you liked it.